probably a similar result to what they had against Catalans. I'm going for.
Well, even the extended highlights on Wigan TV only lasted 12 minutes, and the first minute and a half of that is just the teams coming out and doing the kickoff. So, yeah, I haven't bothered to watch the full game, let's put it that way. I think Wigan by 8. I think Wigan's defence is definitely up there, as the best in the competition still at this stage. And I'm not sure Leeds' attack is as highly rated, which makes me think we've got a chance here. We owe them one as well from the really disappointing defeat to 0 the other week at home, when Leeds weren't good enough to have earned that result that they got. Wigan were miserable that day. I'd like to hope we've got a few more things going. Wigan did actually have a few nice attacks against Catalans, and against a frontline Catalan side. That makes me believe that Wigan can score 2 or 3 tries against this Leeds side. And I think I would like to hope that's enough with the way we've generally defended since that Leeds match. I mean, since that Leeds match, we've conceded no points against Castleford at Castleford, 10 points against you guys at Magic Weekend, no points against Hull at Hull, and only 8 points against the Catalans. So you've got to think that if Leeds break 10 points, they'll have done well against this Wigan defence. So we'll see. The other game, Friday, 7:45 p.m. on Sky. It's 3rd versus 6th. It's Warrington versus Hull KR. And again, I'll let you go first on this one. How do you think your boys will get on?
I think we'll be all right in this one. I'm confident. I think our biggest risk is that we start thinking about Saints the next week. Hull KR's down on a few numbers. I think there is a big gap for me still between the top 3. Maybe Wigan bridging that a little bit with the defence in the last few weeks, but I think the top 3 have been the top 3 for most of the season for a reason. I think come the big games this season, I think we've defended really well when we've needed to. I don't think we'll need to defend at our absolute best against Rovers. I think they're likely to throw the ball about and do what they do and try and come up with some different plays in that way that Tony Smith always likes to try and encourage his team, and that'll threaten us in some ways, I think. But I think we're going to have far too much in attack. Home field advantage. I think we'll be comfortable by 3 to 4 scores in this game.
I agree that you'll get to a point where you're 3 to 4 scores ahead.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll end up 3 to 4 scores, because at some point, like you sort of suggested, you might start to look ahead, but also Hull KR, when your guys' intensity might drop slightly, that's when they'll manage to keep hold of the ball. But I just can't see the way they play when you take out key experienced parts like Hall, like Parcell, like maybe Sims as well. I just think there'll be some detachment from what they need to do there, and they'll end up dropping too many balls. And as we've seen, your side are so opportunistic that they'll take advantage of those situations and probably score a few nice tries along the way, because you can't help but do that when you've got players like Widdop Williams and then Ben Curry running off one side and stuff like that. So I think this one will be more high scoring than the first playoff game. I think it'll be something more like a 30 to 20 type score, but I think Warrington will win by I'd say by 10 to 12 points, but Hull KR will give us some entertainment in the last 20 minutes.
And don't forget, we'll get all the bounce of the ball and all the refereeing calls as well. So
no, you'll save getting the refereeing calls to the Rio games. As long as it's against Saints that you get them, I'm not going to be too upset, to be completely honest with you. Okay, Women's Super League. It's a Games of the Week situation. It's a semi-final double-header being played on, let me get this right, Sunday at the Totally Wicked Stadium. And when I wrote the rundown, I didn't have the fixtures kickoff times, but we have them now. So the first game is St Helens versus Castleford. That's at 1:15. and then Leeds versus York is at 3:30. Both those games will be on Sky Sports. The Shield has their semi-finals as well. Featherstone play Bradford and Huddersfield play Warrington, but that's a sort of minor places situation there. So yeah, any feelings on either of those games?
I mean, plenty of people would say I don't know enough to comment on the Super League games, but even I would say that I don't know enough on the women's game, to be fair, to pass any comment on these. It's not something I've been following, so I'll defer to you on this one, Mark. I know you're probably a bit closer to it.
Well, you've got a couple of young daughters, haven't you? You've started to take to games this year, so maybe worth slipping on to see if they get interested on watching the coverage. But I'd expect it to be Leeds and Saints who come out of these games quite comfortably and comprehensively and set up what should be a really good final the weekend after. Championship games of the week. These will also be on Sky Sports, won't they? This time on Saturday. And the first one will be Batley versus Bradford for 3:15 kickoff there. And then Halifax will play Whitehaven at a 5:30 kickoff. That Batley Bradford one is too hard to call. I can't call that one at all. And Whitehaven only recently beat Halifax, so they've got a shot there too. They're the form side going into this. It's going to be interesting to an extent, because I don't expect any of those four to have any impact on the top two.
I think that's it with these, isn't it? They're on a bit of a hide into nothing. Whoever gets through, you've got to feel it. I'd be inclined to go for Whitehaven, given the form they've carried in, and agree. I think the Batley Bradford's a bit of a coin flip. But you kind of feel like whoever goes through is just extending their season by a week, and probably that's all.
Yep. League One, similarly, 2 playoff games. The North Wales versus Doncaster game, the kickoff time hasn't been confirmed for that, but it should be played on Sunday. And this is an elimination game, so the loser of this will be out. Then we've got Workington versus Keighley, which will be a 2 p.m. kickoff up in Cumbria. And the loser of this will get a second chance. The winner of this will go to the final to play for promotion. That North Wales Doncaster game is I think a tough one to pick. I feel a bit for North Wales if the kind of the last week result, maybe it's a week too far for them after having a great run of form. So I don't know, but I really don't want Doncaster to threaten promotion after the fullback that they signed during the season. Workington versus Keighley. Keighley have hit form just at the right stage. I'm not, a few weeks ago, I would have suspected this might have been played in the playoffs, but been confident Workington would win. I still think Workington should win, but I think it'll be a close one. I don't know if you pay any attention to League One.
No, again, probably a bit detached from this one. What I am pleased with League One is that they've got the top 5 playoff system, which I think is by far the best playoff system that we've used in recent years. And I know it was supposed to be in Super League last season before things got rejigged from a COVID point of view. But I really hope we bring top 5 back because I'm a big fan. And I think the dynamic of the second chance options that you get, I think it's really fair, rewarding the placings in a much better way than other systems. And I think those dynamics of, can North Wales bounce back after a defeat, and can Doncaster keep things going and all that, I think is really interesting. So, good to see that one being used.
And in the NRL, we've got the Rabbitohs versus the Sea Eagles and the Storm versus the Panthers Friday and Saturday morning, respectively, for those games to find out who will be playing in the NRL Grand Final. Okay, make sure you get your fan views in on all of those games for next week. Hopefully they will tweet out and go out on Facebook at the right time to prompt you, but otherwise, save the link or something. Come on, guys, I can't do it all for you. That is the predictions made. We're now going to move on to the wrap-up, where, Neil, you've got a quiz for me, I hope. okay, so it's wrap up time. And when you emailed this morning to say you'd do a quiz, I was hesitant to reply to say yes because I thought it's going to be really, really hard. But then I had a busy day at work and had no chance to sit down and think one up. So yeah, I'm stuck here because I think you're going to make me look like a fool.
No, I must admit, Mark, I am consistently impressed with your performance in these quizzes. So I expect nothing else than a stellar performance here as well today. So pressure's on now.
Unless the answer to the question is Llandudno, but I'm going to Llandudno next weekend to quash those demons from when David asked me a question about Llandudno in rugby league. What?
Well, I don't think he's quite on that, but let's see. So you won't be surprised on the theme of this. The theme is British Rugby League records. The three questions I've selected were quite easy to pick because these are ones which all contain errors on the RFL's website. If you go to a specific stat website, for example, rugbyleaguerecords.com, you'll see that they're correct on there. But the answers to these have all got some kind of error in the RFL website, which I'll point out as we go because, that's what I do.
Yep.
So I think this is a nice, simple one. This is right up your street, this one, Mark. Who holds the goals in a match record?
Well, see, I think that this is a shared record.
It is.
And I think it's shared between... oh my God. This is where you think, why the hell has that name got out of my head? Wigan. Wigan fullback kicked him against Flimby and Fothergill in the Challenge Cup in like the 50s or something, and his name's gone out of my fucking head. And Tom Hemingway's the other one who kicked him for Blackpool Panthers in a game against Gateshead Thunder at the Woodlands Memorial Stadium in Ansdell and Fairhaven, and I was at that game. What's his name?
You really don't want me to tell you. You've got to get it.
I'm not going to get it. It's gone. How can I not remember Wigan's record point scorer's name? That's what happens when we have Zoom issues and end up still recording at 11 o'clock. Oh my
You need
God.
me to tell you?
Just give me the initial of the surname.
S.
Sullivan.
Yes, Jim Sullivan. 22 goals. 22 goals against Flimby and Fothergill, as you said. Yeah, all your details are right. So yeah, Tom Hemingway did tie the record a mere 11 years ago, but that hasn't managed to make its way onto the RFL website yet. To be fair, they've only been told about 20 times. Yeah.
Yeah, and do you know what? They weren't all in front of the sticks either. I mean, as the game went on, they moved progressively to just being in front of the sticks as it became the procession it became. I think it was 132-0.
Yeah, he didn't miss, I believe.
No, he didn't.
22 from 22.
That's right, yeah. And a good few of them were sideline efforts as well. And I seem to remember the one that tied the record was right off the sideline too, right at the end. Yeah, I was there. It was quite special.
Yeah, no, good one to have seen, definitely. Okay, similar kind of theme on this one. Who holds the points in a career record?
Is it one of the Foxes?
It might be.
Is it Neil Fox?
Which one?
Don Fox? I don't know. It's one of the Fox brothers. Give me half a point. Neil Fox. I don't know. Are you there?
I am, yeah.
I
was saying I don't know if you were thinking or if we've got Zoom issues again.
Oh, I just said one of the Fox brothers, and I then said Neil Fox.
Neil Fox, yes. A mere 6,220 points from 358 tries, 2,571 goals and 4 drop goals. Yeah, not as the RFL say 2,575 goals because they've double counted his drop goals in his goal total.